reflection followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Ambrose, would you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Burdell.
Here.
Ms. Bowser. Here. Mr. Chauncey. Mr. Elkin.
Here.
Ms. Lote. Dr. Lobby.
Here.
Mr. Mulroy. Mr. Scaife.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
The Board of School Directors of Armstrong School District convened an executive session on Thursday, November 1st at 7 o'clock p.m. in the Faculty Lounge of West Hills Intermediate School in Katanning for discussion of personnel, real estate, student confidentiality, and a potential claim.
Okay, under reports, we will start with the Student Board Representative report from West Shamokin Junior Senior High.
Good evening. Again, it is a pleasure to be here. Students and teachers are falling into the routines of school while adding in some fun. All three schools celebrate Apple Crunch Day. Included in the Apple celebration were games, stories, PBIS lessons, apple tasting, and apple trivia. Healthy eating is an essential component of wellness and education. At Dayton Elementary, students and staff joined together to support the Bebelt family, whose daughter Savannah attends Dayton's Head Start. Lori, Savannah's mother, is battling stage 4 breast cancer. Students and teachers played Pink Out Bingo and collected $571 to support Lori and her family. Most of the money was in quarters. A shout out to Administrative Assistant Lynn Bowen for rolling all the quarters. No one fights alone, especially at Dayton Elementary. The Ag Lab made a stop at Dayton Elementary this week. Students learned how to make and taste butter, the science of chocolate, the importance of soy and crayon production, and the role of a farm in making a pizza, to list a few. Third grade is participating in a postcard exchange program with the goal of receiving a postcard from all 50 states. Currently, third grade students have collected postcards from 9 states, with the furthest being Alaska. 6th grade at Dayton Elementary hosted the annual Fall Festival. All of the proceeds from this festival fund the Gold Pass program, which rewards students for maintaining high academic standards and being respectful and responsible students. 6th grade also traveled to West Shamokin High School to enjoy a morning of fun at the Halloween Carnival. Veterans Day will also be recognized in all 3 schools. Veterans will be saluted with songs, tributes, music, artwork, and a big screen presentation with music courtesy of the Clarks. All 3 elementaries will be welcoming veterans with overwhelming gratitude. I also had the opportunity to talk to students at Dayton Elementary. I asked them what their favorite thing about their school was. I got answers such as their special area class, their friends, the playground, the nice teachers they interact with, fun times and activities, the friendly staff, and a great place to learn. I also had Gunnar Shoup say that his favorite class was gym class, but he may be a little biased. Thank you.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight, and a pleasure to be student board representative for West Shamokin this year. So, teachers participated in a summer book reading program before the start of the new school year. The program provided teachers with new ideas for professional writing development. Recent in-service days have proven successful. The staff have increased their knowledge on unique and professional development. And West Shamokin held its open house on September 20th, and the event was a success. Students in the West Shamokin Marching Band have been busy. They have participated in the Kennywood Parade, the Ford City Labor Day Parade, and the Indiana County Fairgrounds Parade. And Tri-M held its induction ceremony on October 11th. For extracurricular clubs, select members of SAD were chosen to represent West Shamokin at the National SAD Conference in Washington, D.C. this year, where they were able to listen to keynote speaker Melania Trump. Leo Club participated in a garbage pickup day, where students volunteered to pick up litter along a stretch of Route 85. And SAD participated in Project Sticker Shock, where students traveled to local beer distributors in order to put stickers on cases in order to warn others of the dangers of underage drinking. The 9th grade Gifted Honors English class traveled to O'Reilly Theater in Pittsburgh on October 3rd, where they watched a play on a book that they had been reading, Pride and Prejudice. And select students participated in a field trip to Pittsburgh on October 12th. They visited the Carnegie Science Center as well as Highmark Sportsworks. The West Shamokin Quiz Bowl team participated in its first competition of the year on October 23rd at Indiana High School, and the team is off to a pretty good start. West Shamokin held its financial aid night on October 30th. Many parents and students attended to learn how they can better themselves through applying for our federal student aid. And today, driver's education classes learned about seatbelt safety and road survival 101. A local officer taught students about the importance of wearing your seatbelt at all times, as well as other ways to stay safe behind the wheel. The annual Halloween Carnival was held on October 26th, and once again proved to be a fantastic fundraiser for the senior class. 6th graders from Elderton, Dayton, and Chinook Valley, as well as 7th and 8th graders from West Shamokin, enjoyed a morning of much fun and entertainment, and the fundraiser was a great success. Junior High Student Council has been participating in its annual sale of Sarah's Candy. Many students have been selling chocolate bars in order to raise the funds necessary for the semi-formal dance occurring in a short while. And Leo Club held a Halloween dance on the evening of October 26th. 6th graders from Dayton, Chinook Valley, and Elderton participated in the festivities. In sports, a fall sports recognition pep rally was held on October 26th. Seniors from each fall sport participated in numerous games and activities in order to enlighten students and excite them for upcoming playoff competition. The annual Powder Puff game was held on October 16th. The seniors prevailed once again with a final score of 7-0. Kenny Muth, a senior, is a participant in the cross-country state meet this year. Football playoffs are kicking off on November 3rd with an away game against Bellwood Antis. The girls varsity volleyball team is playing in the second round of district playoffs tonight, and they are playing against Bald Eagle at Bald Eagle. And I am happy to announce that the boys varsity soccer team won the District 6 championship last night for the second consecutive time against Bishop McCourt by a final score of 6-1. And we will go on to states with our first game taking place on November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments on agenda items? If we have none, we'll move on to presentation. I'm sorry, the central office.
There's no formal report for this evening.
Okay.
That's okay.
Any public comments on agenda items? If none, we'll move on to presentation of the regular monthly agenda. Do I have consensus to put the minutes of the October 4th, October 8th meeting on the agenda for Monday?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Bills, food service capital projects, athletics fund, and bills for payment. Do I have consensus to put those on the agenda for Monday?
Yes.
Personnel? Well, we don't discuss that in public session. Education, there's one item, student transfer request, 5%, to put that on the agenda for Monday.
Yes.
Business, student activity fund organizations, the Clinton Smith Scholarship Fund, auditing services, and transfer of funds. Do we have any comments or questions on that?
I do. On business two, Mr. Joe Stipple died, I'm sure, since our last meeting. Have we had any contact with their family that maybe they want to have this scholarship named in memorial or anything like that? Or they just want to keep it to Kling & Smith Fund?
Actually, sorry to hear that. No, we didn't know that. We were dealing more with the foundation that we'd be moving the money to. And in our resolution, we do tell them it's on the condition that they keep it as the Kling & Smith Fund, since that was the original contributor. But if people want us to explore it, I'm sure they'll do whatever we put in our resolution. They're
Well,
more than
I'm just
happy
saying-
they're more than happy to do it for us and take it forward. It's up to what the board wants to do. I don't know if anybody knows the family at all.
I didn't discuss that with Dave. I did talk to David about this, and I said one of the things that the board discussed was, since the scholarship would be open to any Armstrong County student, if there was a student from Armstrong School District that met the requirements, you know, would you have a problem if we gave them priority, all other things being equal? And David's response was, you know, I'm comfortable with whatever you want to do with that. I mean, I know Dave pretty well, so if you want me to ask him if he wants to
Just a suggestion.
name that after his father.
Right.
That's
Well,
the way-
he started the whole thing anyway.
Right.
That's a good point.
Or, you know, the other thing is, if we turn this over to the community foundation, they could always go to the Sipple family and say, can we name this just a Sipple Memorial?
Well, our resolution's telling them that they have to
They have to keep it as the.
keep it as the
Kling.
Kling & Smith so people know, but so we want to double check on that for Monday as far as changing it. And the other point is, our resolution does say that it goes to an Armstrong student who attends a school operated by who attended high school operated by Armstrong School District, including Lenape, as long as they're a resident. Lenape has other students, obviously. And it also says it's primarily for somebody who wants to study pharmacy, but if there are none, then a related medical field. Any thoughts, if anybody has any thoughts on that? But that's how the foundation will handle the scholarship. Armstrong student, including Lenape if they're a resident of Armstrong County, Armstrong School District, and pharmacy first shot, if not pharmacy, then a medical field.
Didn't their request extend the scholarship to all of Armstrong County?
The way it was set up was, it was now to convert to Ford City at this point in time. Ford City High School.
Right.
And since there is no Ford City High School, I suspect that's probably why the Sipples brought it up. They realized it. And that's why we're now saying, don't mind getting out of the scholarship business and let the foundation handle it. But our last discussion was still keep it with Armstrong, people from Armstrong High School. high schools, not any parochial or Leechburg or Apollo Ridge or Freeport or whatever.
That seems to be closer to.
To
the
what they
original
wanted. He wanted to
intent.
help
Yeah.
Armstrong.
We wanted to help Ford City people, so now we're, expanding that a little bit, probably.
Yep.
I mean, has anybody had any discussions with the Simple family to make sure this is okay with them?
I've had no discussions with the Simple
I
family.
haven't.
No. It was originally sent to their lawyer who contacted us, and I said, if you have any comments or suggestions, and
You haven't heard anything back.
so I assume they were satisfied just to move it to where it's going to be more useful for students
In the
as opposed to spending it on anything involving Ford City High School, since it doesn't exist anymore.
So I can contact Dave if the board wishes and ask him if he would prefer that we name it the Joseph Sipple Memorial Scholarship instead of Clayton Smith. And if he does,
Yeah.
then we can, I can let you know, Linda, and we can.
Okay.
Yeah, we
make
can
that
just change it.
Monday.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay. I'm just making a note to that effect. Okay. Anything else on business?
We've had a request to enter into an agreement with OVR. They train disabled people or people seeking different kinds of employments. They've asked us to help train a custodian that they would assign, and they will pay for the cost of that custodian's wages in hopes of training him for future employment. We'd like to, as administration, put that on the agenda next meeting to enter into that agreement.
And that we go under business or personnel?
I think it'd be more business, but
So
we
we
just
can.
want to make it clear it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Because they're not really going to be completely our employee. It's more like a training, like an
Right.
intern.
So it's an agreement between the Armstrong School District and the Department of Labor and Industry, blah, 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 right?
Yes.
Okay. That's the Pennsylvania State, Pennsylvania
Yeah,
Department.
that's the Department of Labor Industry, its Office of Vocational Rehabilitation is what OVR stands for. They train people
Is it
who,
the state labor or the feds?
it's a state agency.
Okay.
Okay, so can I have consensus to place business items 1 through 4 and additionally business item 5 regarding the contract with OVR on the agenda for Monday?
Right. And we'll either put it under business or personnel, depending.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? Under construction, we have one item, change order. Any questions or comments on that?
This one was discussed last month. It's the result of the electrician, at the athletic complex up in Armstrong, and request for overtime. We vetted it a little bit last month. Told you how it was being handled as we move forward. But we're coming back to you to get it approved so we can get them paid and then work through the process to try to rectify the situation.
When they signed their contract, was there a completion date on that contract?
I believe there
A
was.
sub-
There was a substantial completion date, which means it's at a point in time where it can be turned over to the school district for its use, subject to things like punch lists and items like that.
Was that August 1st?
I honestly don't know. Was it August 1st?
Yes.
This change order is due to after August 1st. So, things that happen after.
Yeah,
after
there
that
were,
date.
there were overtime hours
Right,
from
okay.
him throughout, but mainly after the fact, you're right.
And these are prevailing wages, is that correct? Anybody know what the prevailing wage is on that?
No, but I did look at the letter that he sent me, and I'll supply you copies. It has it on there. It has prevailing wage, it has weekend work, Saturday work,
Thanks,
Sunday
okay.
work, it's all on there.
Thank you.
Okay, so do I have consensus to place construction item C1 on the agenda for Monday?
Yes.
Yes.
Under student transportation, 2 items of bus drivers and pupil transportation contracts. Any discussion on either of those 2 items?
Do we get reimbursed for part of that transportation
Yes.
contract?
Yeah, it's highly reimbursable, upper 60%, or low 70s. There's 17 contracts in that resolution for non-public runs. The total about $1.3 million, and about 70% of that would be reimbursable.
Do I have consensus to place student transportation services 1 and 2 on the agenda for Monday?
Yes.
Okay. Under policy, we have 2 items. I'm going to defer to Mr. Price.
Well, the guideline one for school wellness, you may recall that in June, we adopted amendments to our school wellness policy, and these are guidelines for the staff to comport with those changes to the school wellness policy. The other concerns an investment policy that we are to have, and it has been updated to cover a law that was adopted in Pennsylvania. Right now, before this law was adopted, school districts could only invest in things that were set forth in the public school code, generally very conservative type investments. Act 10 applies not just to school districts, but to all public bodies in terms of other things they can invest in. Act 10 investments are, frankly, they generally will earn more, but they are substantially more risky. The takeaway from these policy changes, one is that if the school board would consider investing in an Act 10 type investment that's listed in the policy, we would get outside advice from an independent financial advisor before you would do so. Because we have nobody on staff at Armstrong School District who feels comfortable with understanding some of these more esoteric investments, quite frankly. So if you would go to that area, that's what the policy would require. Obviously, you don't have to always follow policy, but we would try to encourage that you get an outside third person to advise you. Some investments, even under the school code, required a third party to come in and advise the board if you had gotten into them. Another thing is that Act 10 permits something called negotiable certificates of deposit. Generally, certificates of deposit are insured by FDIC, or they're fully collateralized by the bank, putting aside an equal sum of money with another bank to hold it as security. Negotiable certificates of deposit are not collateralized, they're not required to be. We put in here, though, that if we would do those, they do have to be collateralized, and quite frankly, I think that's a requirement of the school code, although there are some who disagree with that. And that's primarily what's going on with this, as well as making our auditors happy that we have an updated investment policy.
Okay, do I have consensus to put policy items 1 and 2 on the agenda for Monday?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's it. Any other comments or questions from the board? If not, can I have a meeting, or a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Mr. Burdell, Mr. Elton, second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.